Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of 310 to Left, presented by your New England Ford dealers and F-Series, America's best-selling truck for 48 years, and the official truck of the Boston Red Sox. Tom Karen along with Alex Spear. As always, it is Thanksgiving week, my favorite holiday of the year. It is low-key. There's lots of football. You go for a run or a walk in the morning and then have family together. We won't do power rankings of holidays, though that seems like a sports talk radio idea for a quiet day. But Alex, where does Thanksgiving rank on your list of holidays?
Super high. It's great. It's a chance to get together with people that we don't otherwise get a chance to see too much, and to eat a lot and to just chill out, which is, there's a lot to be said for kind of for lazy stillness, quiet, and hopefully not too much not too much familial squabbling over the course of those days. But it's great, and it's we all understand and appreciate the incredible opportunity to express gratitude for a lot of things. And so it's a cool undertaking to sit back, take stock, and calibrate, and also be lazy.
Do you host? Do you cook?
We almost never host. This year is going to be an exception. My dad and stepmom are flying up to visit us, which is a rarity. So for that, we will throw ourselves into the turkey making realm. Although I don't want to pretend that we have any level of expertise. Like I'm not a fried turkey type of person. Like we are purchase the prepackaged like Whole Foods Thanksgiving ensemble and work with whatever instructions they give us. So that's what we'll be doing. Do you have any level of
pre-cooked?
Yeah.
Like
not pre-cooked,
you're talking pre-cooked?
You
Okay.
You shove it in the oven, like it's prepped, but it's not pre-cooked. So
interesting.
So we will be shoving it in the oven.
Yeah, we do host, and we have for a long time. But until this year, and with only one exception, we've done the pre-cooked, so you get it the day before, and then you still got to, it's still got to go in the oven for like a couple hours. But a lot of the brining, the guesswork, that is all done. I guess that's the case with you too, right? It's just you still got to cook it. So this year, once a couple of years ago, our son Jack decided he wanted to. We did a trash can turkey outside where you had
nice.
You have the heated thing, and when we pulled the thing off. Not sure if we were going to have turkey or we were going to a Chinese restaurant. I mean, we literally had no idea after it sat out on the front lawn on coals for a long time. It was one of the best turkeys we ever had. So this year now, Jack has shamed me into getting a fresh turkey, which I will be brining. So the brining is on me. He will be cooking. So once I get to do the tag team, and he hands it when he gets in for Thanksgiving morning. So there, we'll see, right? I mean, we'll see. I've got a sort of brining concoction that I've put together, and we'll see how it goes. We have a lot of appetizers. We have a lot of appetizers just in case the turkey goes bad. There'll be other choices.
And an emergency contact list of restaurants that will be open on Thanksgiving. Which this conversation has reminded me that we should certainly be assembling that, because it would be an awful shame if my dad and stepmom flew in and were starved on Thanksgiving. That would seem to be antithetical to the whole purpose of the thing.
But you're in civilization. I'm in the mountains in Maine, so it might be a little difficult. We might have to go just hunt a turkey and try again. That might be our best backup plan.
Save for the fact that you would have already failed at preparing it, so then you've hunted the turkey. But what are you going to do with it? Yeah.
That's a good point.
You have some real conundrums, Tom.
I'm gonna nail. I got the best briner. I bought the world-class chef's briner that locks it down, submerged underwater, so there's no bacteria growth. We're gonna be fine. Don't challenge me. We're gonna have an unbelievable turkey. But we've buried the lead, because this is not about turkeys. It is about giving thanks for a revamped, rebuilt farm system over the last few years. The prospect rankings have come out, and we are honored, Alex, that in this busiest time of year for your rankings, you are joining us still. On Monday of Thanksgiving week, Baseball America came out with its prospect rankings. You did the list for the Red Sox. And in a little bit, we are going to be joined by the number one prospect in the system, according to Baseball America, Alex Spear. But that is, wait, I'll let you give it away. Who is the number one prospect? It's already out. We're not giving away anything. Who's the number one prospect in the Red Sox system and why?
That would be Payton Tolle. And a lot of the reasons, I don't think that anyone is going to be too shocked by that ranking. A lot of the reasons were very evident over the course of the year. Step back from the kind of up and down exposure to that first experience in the big leagues, where he overpowered the Pirates in that major league debut, and then had a difficult time as a starter in the next two outings. Ended up out of the bullpen throwing 101. That's a good reason to throw someone in at number one, although it's no longer a sufficient reason to have someone at number one in the system, given where velocity is across baseball right now. But I think that the bigger arc of 2025 explains a lot about why Payton Tolle is the number one prospect in the Red Sox system. When you talk about a guy who was a second-round draftee in 2024, who was sitting at about 91 miles an hour at TCU, whose kind of secondary pitches were very much in question, but the ability to throw strikes was there, the ability to miss bats with that 91-mile-an-hour fastball was there, and the ability to work in the strike zone was there. So it was an interesting starter package, but the progress that he made over the course of the year was pretty extraordinary. And we didn't see the best version of Payton Tolle in the big leagues as a starter, but those who saw, and this includes me, I got a great look at Payton Tolle in one of his last tune-ups, in fact, his last minor league tune-up in AAA. There were outings that you got to see him in AAA and in the minors where he was able to land not only the fastball and absolutely blow away opposing hitters with that pitch, but also land the slider, land the cutter, have a sweeper at times that he could use to wipe out left-handed hitters. Also featured a changeup that he was able to get chases on just below the zone. There were outings where you saw this glimpse of someone who had all of the makings of a mid-rotation or better starter. In the words of one evaluator of another team, he has 17 pitches, can throw them all for strikes, and can miss bats with all of them. That wasn't really evident in what we saw in the big leagues, but there was enough of that we saw on the way that there's a reason to believe that his floor is really good. This is a big league pitcher. Like, this is going to be at least, even if none of the other pitches came along, he's a back-end reliever. If some of the other pitches come along, he is a back of the rotation starter. And if a couple of them show what they showed in the minor leagues, this guy could be a number 3, a number 2. You never forecast anyone except for maybe Paul Skeens as a number 1, but he has a huge ceiling as well as a really well-defined floor as a big leaguer. And that's why Payton Tolle is number 1 over Franklin Arias, the Red Sox 20-year-old shortstop who finished the year in Double-A.
Yeah, and Paul Skeens, who he went toe-to-toe with for 5+ innings in his major league debut. We'll hear from Payton Tolle in a little bit. He'll be joining us. He'll be one of the 2 featured players at the Woo Sox Gala coming up, the Woo Sox Presents. We'll have more on that in a little bit as well. But you mentioned Franklin Arias, number 2, Connolly Early, number 3. Connolly Early, of course, the guy who got the start in Game 3 of the playoff series against the New York Yankees. Talk a little about that decision. Arias over Early as the number 2 and the number 3 prospects.
Yeah, it's interesting because I actually had there was actually some debate within Baseball America circles about whether or not Early, based on what he showed at the major league level, as being a kind of like easy to project back of the rotation starter, should be ahead of Franklin Arias. Arias ended up getting the nod in part because his industry value is right now, at least in my survey of it, appeared to be clearly higher than that of Connolly Early. But, which is not to say that Early doesn't have significant value. Like if you rewind to the trade deadline, both of those guys were prominent targets of other teams. And in fact, the Arizona Diamondbacks, for instance, identified Early as the guy that they wanted to build a trade package around if the Red Sox were going to get involved on any of their free agents to be like Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly. The Red Sox said, no, we don't want to trade Connolly Early for a rental player like that. So Connolly Early has a good amount of trade value. I would say that Franklin Arias has even more industry value because this year he played all of this year at age 19. He was a guy who has elite bat to ball skills. When he swung at pitches in the strike zone, he made contact 94% of the time, which is like 99th to 100th percentile among minor leaguers, that would be an outrageously high contact rate. And so using that and his line drive approach, you're able to forecast a guy who has a really good chance to hit enough to be a big leaguer on top of clear defensive value at shortstop. Like, I think that he's a better bet, a safer bet to be a major league shortstop than Marcelo Meyer. And I think that Marcelo Meyer is a shortstop for at least a couple of years in the big leagues. But Arias, even though he's not a fast guy, has such great defensive instincts and moves so well at the position. He's got the footwork of a soccer player, which is what he was growing up in Venezuela. That he's going to be at that position for a good chunk of time. And so really you have a nice floor as probably an everyday player, at least a second division regular. And if the power grows a little bit, then which it can, because he just turned 20 in the last month or so, then he has a chance to be a very good shortstop on a kind of what you would call an everyday shortstop on a championship caliber team for a good chunk of time.
Early comes in third. Kyson Witherspoon, who has yet to throw a professional pitch, comes in at number 4, shows the upside there. Talk a little about the pitching and in general the pitching depth that they've built now in the system.
Yeah, that's the really striking thing about this list. I've been doing the Red Sox top 10 list for Baseball America for the last 13 years, and I have never had a system that was stacked so heavily towards the pitching side of things. And you saw that even with the Red Sox 40-man protection decisions last week, the guys who they were and were not protecting in advance of the Rule 5 draft. They have arms. They have more. They have guys who look like they should be contributors to the major leagues. And in fact, they have more than they actually had spots for, which is why you saw trades involving not only guys like Chris Murphy and Brennan Bernardino, who are out of options pitchers, but also a guy like Alex Hoppe, who throws 100 miles an hour and was in AAA this past year with a couple of breaking balls that missed bats, but they didn't have space for him. And so that's why they ended up having to trade him. This is a very different Red Sox system than the one that I'm used to profiling, because the majority of their top 10 prospects were pitchers, because so much of the list is super duper young. And that's in part a reflection of industry trends. But if you include Arias, who just, like I said, just turned 20, but played all of this year at age 19 in going from single A to high A to double A, half of their list played as teenagers this year, which means that the volatility of the system is very high right now. You have guys who could trend in very different directions, trending up or trending down. But there are a lot of upside plays in the system, but there's less kind of well-defined floor.
Talk about, okay, I'll let you run through the rest of the group if you want to go individually, or just was there a surprise when you sit back now compared to when you began the process? Was it someone maybe you didn't expect the more you dug in? Sort of, what jumps out as you look back at this top 10 you put together?
One of the names that ended up surprising me a little bit, and I'll roll through the names right now. So we just went through the top 5 with Kyson Witherspoon at 4, followed by Luis Perales, who returned from Tommy John this year. He was throwing 101, not in the strike zone at all, while making a brief return to minor league games and then the Arizona Fall League. But this stuff is really big, and he had a mid-rotation ceiling before he blew out, and so you kind of give him the benefit of the doubt to prove that he has that still, particularly given just what the pitches looked like, even though he wasn't executing like he needs to in order to take that next level. So he was 5. Justinson Garcia, who's now familiar to Red Sox fans, was at number 6. He's led the Red Sox minor league system in homers in back-to-back years. Obviously, there's big power. Obviously, there's big defensive value. The question is whether or not he's going to be able to control his swing and miss enough to be a kind of a steady contributor at the big league level, or if he's going to be if he's going to be able to establish himself as kind of as a 4th outfielder platoon guy. Number 7 in the system is another teenager, Juan Valera, who is sits at 96 miles an hour, touches 100 miles an hour as a 19-year-old, and he has really good shapes to his slider and sweeper. Some promise. He's been able to miss bats with the changeup, and he works a lot in the strike zone. He got hit hard at times, but there's a clear potential to be a starting pitcher in his mix. Then at number 8 is one of the most interesting players in the system, who could go in very different directions. Justin Gonzalez, who is this physical giant. He played this year at age 18, 6'4", over 200 pounds already. And in batting practice, he hits Ruthian home runs. The issue is that in games, he hits a lot of balls on the ground, but he does a good job of not expanding the strike zone. So that's a really good starting point. Find hittable pitches, swing at the pitches that are in the strike zone, take the ones that aren't in it, and hit them really hard. The challenge for him is going to be hitting the ball in the air, and if he's able to do that, then the upside could be enormous. But there's a lot of uncertainty about where his future goes. The name that I was surprised ended up being a clear consensus top 10 was the number 9 guy, Yohiko Fajardo, who the Red Sox acquired a year ago, last December, in one of those many trades involving the Red Sox and the White Sox and a left-handed pitcher. The Red Sox sent Cam Boozer to the White Sox in exchange for Fajardo, who was, I believe, had just finished his age 17 season in the DSL with huge strikeout to walk rate. But you never know. That's the Dominican Summer League is a very strange level to evaluate. He came to the States this year and kept pounding the strike zone, kept striking guys out, kept not walking guys, did really well in both the Florida Complex League and in Single A Salem, to the point where a lot of people think that he has a chance to be a solid back-end starter, and he has a lot of industry value as well. So Fajardo was a guy who I wasn't sure where he would land, but it became very clear that he was going to be a top 10 guy. And then I rounded out the list with the player who did spend this year in the Dominican Summer League, Dorian Soto, who is a very toolsy shortstop, who's 17 and can hit the ball really hard for a 17-year-old. He's also 6'2" and, has a really whippy swing and kind of lively actions. And no one has any idea where that package of tools is going to go until he gets to the States. But it's an exciting enough ceiling that I ended up squeezing him into the top 5 or top 10.
All right, we'll talk. Top 10. We'll talk a little more about that final list and maybe who came close to making the cut. We'll dig in a little bit more. But first, let's go back to the very top of the list. Payton Tolle, who made a scintillating Major League debut on August 29th when he went up against Paul Skeens on a Friday night at Fenway Park. Didn't get the win that night, but certainly got our attention and the attention of the entire baseball world. The number 1 prospect in the Red Sox system, according to Baseball America and Alex Spear. Payton Tolle joins us now on 310 to Left, presented by your New England Ford dealers. 310 to Left is presented by your New England Ford dealers, who've been taking everyone out to the ball game at Fenway Park for decades. Catch Ford next time you're at Fenway, including in the Ford Clubhouse, a full-service bar perfect for bringing your lineup together and for recording our live edition of 310 to Left. It's all brought to you by your New England Ford dealers and F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 48 years and the official truck of the Boston Red Sox. All right, so here he is, the number 1 prospect in the Red Sox organization, Payton Tolle. Payton, thanks for joining us. I know you're not a guy who's going to beat your chest and get all of it, but that's pretty cool to hear, isn't it? That Alex put the list together, and after weighing out everything, you are the top prospect in the system.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting, but a lot of work still left to come. I've said it before. It's like, it's cool to be, ranked high or whatever, but to me, it doesn't really matter as long as you got the big leagues is the only thing that matters. So that's the true test. So.
Yeah, well, it was interesting because last year, Roman Anthony was the number 1 guy in all of baseball. He's kind of over my shoulder, and I sat down with him last year when he ascended to Baseball America's number 1 overall ranking in the sport, and he said that's great. What it means is that I've worked really hard, and I've worked really hard to improve. I've made a lot of strides because Roman Anthony, like you, was a 2nd-round draft pick coming out of, when he entered pro ball. He was not on any top 100 lists. He was not in the, I think that in his first year, I had him at the back of the top end of the Red Sox system, but then just kept improving at a really fast rate. To you, how much do you define what you're doing as the progress that you've made? And in that realm, how would you describe, what are you, when you do look back at this first professional season that you just had? It's funny to think about that because you reached the big leagues. What are you proudest of in terms of the progress you made?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a ton, I don't like putting it on myself, if that makes sense. There's so many different people in this organization that have poured into me and poured into what we're doing as an org. I love bragging about the people that I've worked with just because everybody cares in this org. It's from Juan and Double A and TJ down in the fort. It's like you got people that care about the organization and have been Red Sox fans for a long time. But I mean, for progress, it's been, it's happened fast, and it's been a little bit of a whirlwind of things. But it's like I like to say that things just started to click, especially on the pitching end. Just like um, started throwing hard, started figuring out where the body was in space, and then it just kind of kept climbing and climbing and climbing, and then like keep your head down, look up at one day, and we're in Yankee Stadium in a playoff game. So, I mean, it was a fun year, and like it was a lot of hard work from a lot of different people. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a good way of putting it. It's just like it's just we've worked hard, and it's kind of a gratification instant yeah, gratification of it. Is that the word there? I'm trying to use, my girlfriend is like, you need to use bigger words and sound smarter, and I'm like, that's just not I'm maybe I'll try, but yeah, it's just it's a nice little pat on the butt. So
Let's start at the end and work back. That playoff outing, one at bat, but man, bases loaded, Yankee Stadium, trying to keep it where it is. What was that moment like, and what was the feeling coming off the mound after getting the job done?
I I talked about it the other day. Like somebody was asking me about it, like kind of go in detail about it, and I'm like, I really don't remember much about it. I guess like I go back and look at the video on it just because it's a pretty cool moment. But like there's like running in from the pen was kind of an unreal experience. Like I think I've used what everybody kind of uses about it, is like running in, like you feel like a gladiator running into a coliseum. Like it's everybody there is hoping you fail, and you just have to like you're like, well, let's just do it, I guess. And but getting out there on the mound, I was like, I love telling the story of I got to the mound and took the ball from AC. And everybody kind of looked around at me and said, "Hey, throw strikes." And I'm like, "Yeah, like, yeah, the grid plan, I love it." But it was an exciting moment, and then kind of got through it. And coming off the mound, I'm like, oh wow, okay, deep breath. Like, oh, okay, that was a lot of fun. Like we're okay, we did it. And then I kind of go in the dugout, and I'm like, I kind of immediately go in and talk to Early. I'm like, whoa, that was crazy. And Bailey is like sprinting to me through the dugout. He's like, we tie this game, you're going back in. I'm like, well, I need to go warm up. Like I threw maybe 8 pitches in the pen, and but it was a great moment, and it was a great kind of way to cap off kind of a crazy year. So, yeah.
6 weeks earlier, you made your major league debut, and you had said that you made an effort of making sure you soaked it in. You stepped. It's a little different coming out of the pen of the playoff game, right? I mean, like
Absolutely.
that Friday night at Fenway, the schedule. You can sort of work it through yourself. You don't get to savor that moment, bases loaded in the 8th inning, until afterwards. Do you?
Yeah. No, it's the moment that just like it's a different kind of adrenaline hit out of the pen, and it's fun, but you have to kind of keep yourself in check because it can be, if you let it get on you quick, it'll start crumpling quick, which happened maybe one time in that Tampa Bay pen appearance of just like, oh my gosh, things are happening quick. But yeah, it's trying to go back on it, like, okay, now that got quick on us, so we're gonna be better next time. So but yeah, it was yeah, definitely a lot different than starting, I would say.
It's wild, though, to think about all of the first experiences that you managed to have over the span of this like 6-month period. Again, like you did not throw a professional game last year after being drafted, just went out, kind of filled up the gas tank, got stronger, got added more power, worked on pitch shapes. Turned out that was a pretty good move. When you think about when you think about last off season in the way that you were prepared for that first professional season, like how, I didn't know. I didn't know whether or not this was I whether or not this was a sound strategy to just say, let's just, for the Red Sox to say, let's just focus on building you up and getting you as, in their terms, as big an engine as possible before you make your professional debut. Like, was that weird for you a year ago that you had gone so long without pitching in a game, and that you were like working towards this thing, but without having hitters to offer feedback for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a very interesting. It was so different. Like you're training to prepare for the long season. You're working on all the stuff you're talking about, pitch shapes, velo, trying to get bigger. Like there's a lot of things you're working on, but like there for a while, like you're like in college, you have the fall season, but you're competing in the fall season. You're doing inter squads and scrimmages against other teams a lot. And we're doing that in over the summer and into the off season down there. And it's like we're waking up and you're just training, training, training. Like that competitive muscle, you're not really working out as much. And like for me, I was like, I'm itching to like we're putting in all this work for like kind of no payoff, if that makes sense. But like whenever we like it was good to be down there, right? It's a great like obviously it worked. So like it was a good experience down there, but yeah, I mean it was different to be doing all that because it's also too like going even back to high school, like I was competing in football and then competing in basketball and then to baseball and then through the summers like kind of having to slow down and like just okay, we have this putty here that we need to form to make a good pitcher, and like you can't just compete, like you're gonna have to form it first. And but it was like there were times where I was like I need to go like play some golf against and like really get into it and like like or go bowling or like something, because there were moments in there where I was like I have a competitive itch and it's just, I need something, I need an outlet. So
Yeah, not quite Yankee Stadium with the ground beneath your feet. I guess they should simulate earthquakes while you're throwing side sessions in Fort Myers so that you can be like, but
yes.
but that is so different, right? Because like last year you were preparing for this idea of the pitcher that you were supposed to be without having that competition in order to frame it. So how different is this offseason? Like now you've gotten a chance, a first look at, you got those 6 weeks of pitching, 5, 6 weeks of pitching against big league pitching against big league hitters. Now you have more feedback. So how different is the work that you're doing this offseason, and what is the work that you're focused on this offseason?
I mean, there's not much. It's not the training is not much different than what it was last year. It kind of the schedule is a little bit different just because of the the long season and the guys were building up whenever the season was ending um, last year. So it kind of the training is the same, but like we learned so much with the 6 weeks there, 7 weeks, or whatever it was, and like now it's just hammering those. Where we got to make sure we're locating fastballs better. We got to make sure that curveball is the big one as we're calling it. Is we're gonna have better feel of that. We need to K more. Have better strike percentage with changeups. Uh, and then like the big three for me right now are like cutters, changeups, and curveballs of like just developing feel, because they were all pitches that I learned kind of within a month of each other. Whenever I got to Portland, um, like changeup we were trying all year to figure out, and then we finally got to Portland with the kick change, and then 2 weeks after that was the cutter, and then 2 weeks after that we're like, okay, we got to bring the curveball in. So like now it's just like, okay, we have all the tools, we just need to start putting them together, like developing the feel of it, and then like trying to use the training economy we didn't have in the season to have better feel over those pitches, because they're three pitches that I mean, you can only go so far with a fastball and a slider that you can strike. So like, uh, got to have other weapons that we use. But I mean, like a lot of it's location. A lot of it's like trying to figure out how to use the velo that we have, and then, like I said, locations with that, because it's kind of an interesting balance there of like trying to throw as hard as you can, but also like we got to throw strikes with that. So it's but yeah, it's a lot of things that we want to work on. A lot of but like it's all kind of in front of us there, if that makes sense.
It does. And you were talking about, that sort of clay that you're molding, right? And that
Mm.
starts with the arsenal, right? The pitches you're talking about. Are there any couple of pitches you're focusing in on this season, or is there like, is there sort of a ranking? Like, what you've got now. I want to add this, this, and this. Let's try this. Do you go down the list, or is it still developing everything and then fine tune that at spring training? Sort of, how do you narrow down ultimately?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's going to come down to kind of feel on pitches. Right now, with the kick change, it's like, okay, we want to develop feel for it. Is it going to be something that we like right now? Could it be a possibility that like can't develop feel? So we look at like a splitter grip or, so it's kind of like a trial and error process. And that's kind of why, like, you got to try to take advantage of the time that you have in the off season to work on these things. But like for me, it's like having intentional catch play with my fastball to work on locations with that, and then it's developing feel on the kick change because I think it's that whole movement of having a good changeup. You see guys with good soft stuff in the playoffs, like you Savage, like he can do that, and so it's a good thing to work on. Like that's going to be a better tool than like fastball slider is going to be great, but whenever you're throwing them, how I've kind of learned to throw them, they just need to be better. It's not going to generate much swing and miss, but so like I think the changeup to me right now is especially because I'm just starting to kind of work getting back on the mound, but the like those two things are going to be top of the brain for me. So
You mentioned you Savage, and you saw what he did in the playoffs so quickly, right? And we were talking before. Kyson Witherspoon is fourth on Alex's list, and he's kind of where you were a year ago, right? Hasn't he's been in the
yeah,
lab, still working, right?
yeah,
We've never seen pitchers like move up as quickly, and it's been you guys come out of college and you come out into the pro ranks like with really good stuff, like ready to go. How cool is it to be part of that? And when you look around, does it surprise you that others, it used to be like one guy could do it and another guy could do it. Now you've sort of got this whole generation of pitchers who are almost major league ready when they get drafted. How cool is that to be part of it?
yeah. I mean, I think it's incredible, and I think a lot of it can go back to college, and like for me being TCU with like Coach Carlos, like that's a guy he's been there, done that. Like that's who you want to be learning from. But I mean, like you look around at everybody with, you Savage and Tong and Mizorowski and the Brewers. Like it's kind of everywhere, and it's really exciting because I think you have organizations that are kind of they're like riding the hot hand, if you will, with guys, and that's I mean, if they're ready, they're ready. It's like go let them go play. So it's exciting, and it just kind of I'm like and it's another one of the things that adds to the list. I'm just happy to be a part of it. I'm just happy to be here. But like, with me and Early kind of we've talked about it a couple times. Like it's kind of fun being a part of this. Like even just being here, like I got to talk to a lot of people about it. Like they're like, "How was it having Connolly there with you?" I'm like, "It was kind of good, being there for a week and then him showing up. I got to be like the little kid again. I'm like we can sit in the back of the plane and just, isn't this awesome? Like it's so cool." But yeah, so
Well,
it's exciting.
so it's you mentioned the changeup development. For me, that was one of the great reminders over the course of the season because I saw you in your last outing for the Woo Sox where you threw a couple of really good ones and had swing and miss either at the bottom of the zone or below it, and I was like, oh, he's made some serious progress there, and like found out after the fact that you had been throwing your kick change for like 2 weeks at that point, right? So then you're in the big leagues, you get to Arizona, and I think you let one go and it gets to the backstop or something, right? And it was like, Payton Tolle is still learning how to throw, like is being asked to learn how to throw all of these pitches. Like he's thrown like 10 of these things professionally, and he's being asked to do this against big league hitters. Like, are you comfortable kind of like, is that uncomfortable, or is that fun to like, have so little kind of foundation on some of these pitches and say, I'm going to go ahead and throw them against big league hitters. Ketel Marte, here you go.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's a fun. Yes, I think that there were sometimes like this Arizona outing keeps getting brought up, which makes total sense. But like there were like throwing it and you're in the pen and you throw a couple and I was like, those were good. Maybe are we telling we're telling ourselves that they were good, but like there can be early on with them. I'm having the same thing with my golf swing right now, but early on, it's like just being an athlete, just throw it. We're just having a good time with them, let the grip do the work, and then you start to develop a little bit of feel for it, like my golf swing right now, and you're like, now we're getting frustrated because the swing is right there or the pitch is right there, and we're like we can feel it a little bit. It's there, and then now we're getting frustrated with it. We're choking it. We're getting like way too complex with our thought process behind it. So like the ball that went to the backstop. Why are we thinking that hard about it? Like, let's be an athlete with it, and like I can almost remember that pitch of like, just let it flow down. It's good. Just bottom of the zone. Put it on the plate. It's gonna be a good pitch. Good pitch. Boom! Oh my gosh, that was awful. But yeah. So, but it's fun. But it's just it's part of the process, and try not to get frustrated with it and not overthink feelings on it.
Alex, I'm going to jump in here because he's talking golf, and I got to jump in for a second here. Okay, the amazing thing about golf, I'm a lot older than you and played golf a long time. The amazing thing about golf is, I swear to God, I pick up the clubs in the spring because we're up here, we don't play in the winter, right? And I play a couple rounds. I'm like, I play the best golf I play all year because I'm not thinking about it, right? You just pick up all right, here we go. I'm golfing. I'm happy. I'm golfing. Now all of a sudden, I'm going to break a personal. Now I'm low 80s. And this might be a great round today. Now I'm thinking about it, and there it goes into the woods, right? Or there goes, I chunk a wedge. It's no brain, no headache. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? Don't overthink it.
Exactly. Yeah. I shot an 82 the other day. Best round of my life. Next round. Yesterday.
And number one prospect. Great week.
I played yesterday. I had 7 shanks in a row. It was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it.
Full tin cup.
It's part of it, but yeah, it's just that's the good thing with the changeup is maybe you throw a bad one, you don't throw 7 bad ones in a row.
Well, yeah. I don't mean to belabor that, like, but those were outings, those were moments that were just reminders of like how quickly this whole development is coming. Like when how far removed you were 1 year from being in Fort Myers, like throwing inside of inside of the lab, like, right? Like they don't even let you throw on the field. You're not even getting sunlight. It's a weird thing, but they want to measure, they want to be able to track the biomechanics of the whole thing. So, to the point of, of having, of being teammates with Alex Bregman and receiving throws from him, right? Like when we talked with you last on this podcast, you said, thank you, Alex Bregman, right? Like anytime you receive the ball. By the end of the season, did you feel comfortable calling him something other than thank you, Alex Bregman, when you got a throw back from him?
I finally got to the point, went through Alex Bregman and then Mr. Bregman. Finally got to Breg, just like his story too. I got to the point where I was like, "Hey, what up, morning, Trev?" Like, we're got nickname basis. Here we go.
Then you run to the back of the plane with Early and giggle about it, right? You're
not gonna believe this. I just called Crochet Beast. It was awesome. It was fun. And I got used to the hard throws back, but it was a lot of fun. Like finally being able to get comfortable with those guys was pretty fun. Like I think one guy and was the two guys that were awesome whenever I got to the pen, Steven Matz and Justin Wilson. Like those guys were really fun. But like with Wilson, like I was like, dude, did we talk to him? Like he's kind of a scary guy. Like I shake his hand, but is it okay to talk to him? And then like we were in Toronto and had a good conversation for like 5 innings. I'm like, he's human. Like we're all like it took a while to get out of my shell a little bit, but then it's like they're all guys and they're all having a good time too. And but yeah, like those guys in the pen that like I'm super thankful for those guys. So
You were talking to Rob Bradford the other day, and I saw that you said you're off social media, basically, right? You've gotten away from that. Was it hard? Like, you know what I mean? Like my kids are in their 20s, and they're one of them is off everything. I'm still the 25-year-old has just gotten off all of it, and I'm like, good for you, man.
Yeah.
Because I don't, what is there? Is it hard? At the beginning when you give it up? Do you sort of find yourself glancing at the phone and then, oh yeah, wait, I'm not doing that anymore? Like.
There were plenty of times where it's weird. It's did he freeze? Oh, there he is. Okay, but it freezes up. Yeah, I get to my phone sometimes and I start looking around and I'm like, I guess I'll check my email. I guess it's a weird that of the habits of everything, and I think it's like, well, you don't realize you're a slave to it until you pick up your phone trying to look for Instagram and it's not there. And like there's been a couple times where like I was telling him earlier, it's like news, I don't see any of it. Like I was a day late with Whitlock going on USA, so I get on sometimes like just to scroll a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, I've been on for 10 minutes, like it's time to delete it and get back off. But like I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like a you're missing out, but like it frees you up. You're not worried about it. You're not thinking about what is somebody going to comment or what is somebody going to say on Twitter. Like Twitter, one of the funniest places on earth. Like it's awesome, but also one of the worst apps ever developed. But like it was it's a good thing. I told my brother, like he's still on it, and I'm like, well, let me know if anything happens. He doesn't, but it's a good process. Like I think anybody should anybody, even for like go 3 weeks without it and just cleanse yourself of it, and you realize how much time you spend on it. So.
Well, yeah. I want to express, we could create some memes right now if you wanted. Like, I think that I was thinking about, like, particularly you have this great sign in the background for mac and cheese madness. Although one of our dear friend Dennis Eckersley, Hall of Fame pitcher who was a NESN analyst for many years, used to love talking about cheese, and so I was like, get a picture of Tolle with cheese madness, kind of narrowed in there, and we have something really good. Yeah, so so we can you can stay off the apps, but you can still be a meme if you want.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I remember the mac and cheese madness. That was a bellyache for 3 days after that night.
I don't know how much you know about Dennis Eckersley's vocabulary, but cheese was the fastball, obviously. But even talking about a guy's got easy cheese, and then our personal favorite was a guy had educated cheese. Like he knew where it was going. You know what I mean? It might not overpower you, but he knew exactly where. That's educated cheese. That's not a bad thing to have.
No, not at all. Maybe educated power or educated fast cheese. Yeah. Well, educated
you don't want is goopy
I like
cheese.
that. I need to
no
use
goopy
that.
cheese.
No, you don't want gloopy cheese. Yeah, that's bad stuff. Well, listen, I know you're coming back north. I want to get a plug in here. You're going to be with me. I'll be there as well. The 4th Annual Woo Sox Foundation Honors coming up December 6th at Polar Park. The cool thing about it, anybody buying tickets, and tickets are still available, WooSoxFoundation.org. The after party is down in the clubhouse. So if you've never been in a professional baseball clubhouse, you not only get to go check it out, you can have a couple drinks down there as well. Not a whole lot of ventilation or windows. I mean, this ain't the Ritz. This is the Woo Sox clubhouse. All right, but you come back north. You're relatively new to this, right? Like where the fans here know you. How cool is that? You know what I mean? Like fans are going to be fired up to see you at Polar Park in December, and you're sort of connecting with this fan base. What has that been like for you?
I've loved it. It's been a very fun kind of process without me early and Harrison, where we went to lunch the day before we went home, and some guy was like, "Hey, can we take your picture?" And it's like we're all not very happy right now because our season just ended, but yeah, I can throw a smile on for you. But like the fan base, they've been incredible, and like even after I guess you can call them failures, outings that kind of after the debut, like still people were very kind and like, oh, like your debut was so good. You should have read what I posted on Twitter about you after your Arizona outing, but your debut was good. But I like that too. Like I like you tell me whenever I'm doing bad, but you also have to tell me whenever I'm doing good too. So there's a good sense of accountability with everybody in the fan base. But Woo Sox Clubhouse, I hear it's one of the better AAA clubhouses. So like you got to go see it. But like if you want a real clubhouse, you go to the Asheville Tourist Clubhouse there in High A, and it's a portable. You're having to walk across the street to go take a shower. So we should make everybody do that one too.
maybe do that. Pay more for that to get the real minor league experience. So you can ride, and you get a 12-hour bus ride home afterwards, just to make it feel like the real thing. Listen, we appreciate. Yeah, exactly right. We'll drive through Wendy's. We appreciate the visit, Payton. Good stuff. Lay off the mac and cheese. All right, we need you in game shape for the spring here. Okay, but we appreciate the visit.
Some weight. You got to put some weight back on.
That's right. That's right. Muscle mass. Looking forward to seeing you at the Woo Sox event, and congrats, #1 prospect on the Red Sox list. So keep it going. We appreciate the visit, Payton.
Thank you. You guys are the best. Thank you guys so much.
Happy Thanksgiving, Payton, to you and the fam.
Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving. I gotta make my pie. And by make my pie, I gotta go order it from Brahms.
Then put it in the oven. Good luck with that. Happy Thanksgiving, buddy. 310 to Left is presented by your New England Ford dealers who've been taking everyone out to the ball game at Fenway Park for decades. Catch Ford next time you're at Fenway, including in the Ford Clubhouse, a full-service bar perfect for bringing your lineup together and for recording our live edition of 310 to Left. It's all brought to you by your New England Ford dealers and F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 48 years and the official truck of the Boston Red Sox. I hope 10, 15 years from now, if we're doing this or watching someone who is doing this instead of us, I hope Payton Tolle is as honest and candid and refreshing and fun as he is now, because he really is one of the better interviews we've had in a long, long time here.
Yeah, there's delight, right? Like he's very open to the idea that he should be having fun doing this. And we talked about this with him a while ago, and he learned a lot from his late mother, Gina Tolle, who was an extraordinary woman and an extraordinary spirit, and someone who had an immense zest for life that she made sure everyone in her family shared with her. And Payton Tolle certainly does that, and appreciates. He's an incredible worker. That's why he's gone from being drafted as a second rounder to the #1 prospect in the Red Sox system, one of the best young pitching talents in all of baseball. But he has not allowed himself to lose sight of the joy in what he's doing, and really appreciate seeing that perspective. And I think that it means a lot to those who are around him, whether it's not just teammates, but also members of the Red Sox, members of the Red Sox fan base who just get to feel a natural connection to someone who's so very, very authentic.
Where do you see him on opening day in 2026? On the big club, in the rotation, in the bullpen, or in Worcester? Where do you think he is?
So my default answer would be that I see him being back in the Red Sox rotation for exactly what the reason that we were talking about, which is the need to develop feel in those secondary pitches in order to be a complete pitcher who can have a full mix. And let's also not forget that he didn't have a massive innings load last year, so you might want to control the innings load a little bit at the beginning of the season so that you're kind of scaling the uptick. That said, I do not want to put anything past him because of how quickly the growth came for him over the course of the 2025 season. Like, I don't want to say that he's someone who's going to need to prove in the Red Sox rotation that he's still working to develop the changeup and the curveball and the slider. That's my default assumption, or rather the changeup, curveball, and cutter. Those were the three that he identified. He is someone who's capable of figuring things out really fast. And so if you give him an offseason, he's got a chance to force his way into the Red Sox rotation out of spring training. And I think, as Brian Abraham told us, he's going to be given the opportunity to compete for it, along with guys like Connolly Early.
All right, as we bring it back to Thanksgiving here at the end, he finished with pie. I began by having you rank Thanksgiving as a holiday. What's your go-to pie, Alex Spear? Your favorite pie?
I mean, I do love a good pumpkin pie with whipped cream. I think that there is something that is the fact that there is a dessert that's tethered to an occasion. I'm in. I like the idea of having food pre-selected. I love a good pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving. Tom, you going to tell me I'm an idiot or what?
You're an idiot. I'm from Maine. Blueberry pie all day. Any other fruit is a pretender. If I could work lobster into our Thanksgiving, I would work that as well. Though we will have it as an appetizer. We will have some lobster. So you have to have lobster and you have to have a blueberry pie. Sorry. Simple as that.
Wow. I think that Alyssa may ditch me and try to join you for Thanksgiving now that I've heard about your appetizers. So there we go. Thanks for being a home.
Again, I told you at the beginning, heavy on the apps because we don't know how the entree is going to work out. Okay, so cross your fingers. Keep us in your thoughts and prayers as we try to brine our way to success. Great stuff with Payton Tolle. Alex, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy mac and cheese madness to you, Tom.
I think that should be if Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, mac and cheese madness should be Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. I wish I had thought. We'll work with his dad on that. We thank you for checking us out as always. We'll see you again after Thanksgiving. We'll see you again next week. For all of us here at NESN, he's Alex Bear. I'm Tom Karen. Thanks for checking out 310 to Left, presented by your New England Ford dealers at F-Series, America's best-selling truck for 48 years and the official truck of the Boston Red Sox.